Hi, welcome back to Talk of the Town. Dr. Jeff Blank with Off Island Dental Family and Cosmetic Dentistry stops by today to introduce himself as a new member of the practice and shares recent advances in contemporary dentistry. Dr. Jeff, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Glad to have you. So most people who have had crowns, we'll talk a little bit about crowns,
Sure.
placed on their teeth, remember days when it took at least 2 appointments, in some cases 3. What's changed from that?
Well, obviously the computer age is here, and I think most people are familiar with CAD/CAM technology, and that's
Right.
been incorporated into dentistry for probably close to 10 years, if not longer, but it's been a slow process in developing and perfecting. But we have now got it down to where instead of using the normal impression, I think everybody remembers the goo we put in your mouth, the making of models, the wearing of temporaries, problematic temporaries, those kind of things. And coming back 3 weeks later to have a crown delivered. So it was a multiple appointment, you had to be numbed twice, those types of things. We can now come in and simply in one appointment, do our normal preparing, that sort of thing, and then use the CAD/CAM technology, which is a sophisticated camera that actually takes what we call a stereographic type image of your tooth. It's sent to a machine. The machine is located here in our office, and it takes about 15 minutes to actually make the crown. You're still numb, we walk back in, try it in, we adjust the bite, make sure that everything fits correctly. We put it into what we call a glazing oven, and literally in about 30 minutes your crown is made and delivered. So the whole process can be done in an hour, and certainly has saved a tremendous amount of time and more convenience for the patient.
I experienced it, and it's a true statement.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Makes things a whole lot better.
Made my life so much easier.
People are busy these days.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of people will take a half day off of work to come to the dentist to get their teeth cleaned, so it's nice to be able to even do that. Sometimes we can do it while you're there.
Absolutely. So aside from bridges and dentures, what are the contemporary options for replacing missing teeth?
Sure. Most people do not want to wear a removable appliance.
Sure.
The concept of a dentist is fortunately an aging art. We're now we're in what we call the implant generation today, and I think most people are fairly aware of what a dental implant is, but many may not know that it's a very convenient, easy, and relatively painless thing to be done. Obviously you have to be numbed, but the process is as simple. One of the negatives with something like a bridge or a partial obviously something you have to remove and put in a glass at night. Certainly not a sexy way to go by any means, but implants, traditional bridges would actually involve preparing sometimes perfectly healthy teeth on either side, in which a dummy tooth would be welded to it, and that was always a conflict in dentistry, that we were modifying sometimes perfectly healthy teeth to replace the one that you've missed.
Sure.
So now today that we can go in and actually in the missing tooth site, in a single appointment go in and place what we call an implant fixture, which a lot of people consider it a screw, but it's actually a cone-shaped device that actually has internal threads. It can be placed in one appointment. Very often we can put a temporary tooth on it so you can begin using it immediately. That's not always the case, but what we do is allow that to integrate. That can take usually as little as 3 weeks or up to a couple of months. It depends on the quality of the bone. And after that, then it becomes a hardware problem at that point. We can come in using, we can construct a crown. We can literally have what we call a abutment placed and cement a crown as though you had a tooth all along.
So I have this problem. I grind my teeth at night. Dr. Langhans, who's your partner, helped me with that. But why do people grind at night, and what's out there to correct it?
Tooth grinding is becoming, like, we'll always have tooth decay and gum disease. Tooth grinding is public enemy number 3 in dentistry at this point. We're dealing with an aging population. We're living longer. People are wanting to keep their teeth longer. The debate on why we grind our teeth, there is a number of, it depends on who you talk to, but for the most part it has to do with what we call a malocclusion, or the way your teeth fit together. And when we go to sleep, we're in a reparative cycle, and our body actually tries to remove the interferences that don't allow the joint and muscles to line up. And when you're in a position, when you're sleeping, when you're in this corrective pattern, it's not a very efficient way to try to correct the problem. So what ends up happening is your body is trying to protect itself, just as our body tries to protect itself in several other ways, you know, other than teeth, obviously.
Well, quickly and very quickly, how do people find out more information about these some of the contemporary processes as well as the office?
How to correct grinding itself is usually related to an appliance, and there are now things that it relates to snoring. I think we'll probably talk about that next, but the main thing is airway is usually involved in addition to this grinding, and what we do is we can place traditional mouth guards. Many dentists certainly in the community are doing that, but the technology is advanced, where we're using machinery to actually determine the proper place to align your jaw, to put you in a physiologically rest position, and that has been the most successful way to stop grinding, and it's used by making appliances that you can remove at night or only wear at night, and that puts you in a position of health and normalcy so that the grinding stops.
We will have all your information on the screen, and we thank you so much for joining us today.
Great. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
And we thank you so much for joining us on today's Talk of the Town.